We're following developing news in the race for the 24th Congressional District. Central Coast voters are deciding who will represent them on the national stage tonight. Justin Farid is looking to unseat Incumbent Salud Carbajal to represent the Central Coast on Capitol Hill. Carbajal has served 2 years in Congress. This marks Farid's third attempt to win the 24th District.
And let's go to the numbers on this one. Right now, Salud Carbajal has 55% of the vote. Justin Farid trailing with 45% of the vote, with 37% reporting. We have full team coverage of the congressional race. KSBY's Dustin Kleeman is live with Justin Farid. But first, let's check in with KSBY's Kelsey McFarland live at Salud Carbajal's watch party as the votes come in. Kelsey?
Kathy, dozens of Representative Salud Carbajal's supporters are here at Viva in Santa Barbara, closely watching those numbers, and high energy here. Confidence seems like it's been high. How are you feeling tonight after a long campaign season and leading up to this point?
Besides being a little exhausted, I feel very good. I'm very grateful to the voters who placed their trust and confidence in me to continue to represent them in Washington.
And of course, tonight, national elections are a big spotlight, with Democrats now looking like they're going to take back the House. What does that mean for you if you're reelected?
Well, it certainly means being able to be more effective in getting more legislation over the finish line. But it also means that we are now going to have a House that's going to be a checks and balance on this president, on all this rhetoric of hate and division, and quite rampant corruption that exists with this administration. But in addition to that, it's going to allow the House and me to be able to focus on the many issues that are important to the Central Coast. Reducing healthcare costs, bringing about more jobs, especially as it relates to SLO County when you consider the closure of the Diablo Canyon power plant, to continue to work on our water security, and to address climate change here on the Central Coast.
All those issues very important to Central Coast residents. And as you're looking at, pushing legislation and working across the aisle, how does that change the dynamic and kind of pushing back against the Trump administration on some issues and working with them on others?
Well, certainly, despite now being in the majority in the House, I'm going to continue to find and work to find bipartisan opportunities and build bipartisan relationships. Because at the end of the day, the American people and residents here on the Central Coast want us to get things done. They want us to find common ground and to move solutions forward to the many challenges that our country and that we are facing here on the Central Coast. They don't want more of this gridlock. So I'm willing to work with anyone and everyone who's willing to work with me on getting those things done.
You mentioned Diablo Canyon jobs, immigration reform, something that's been very near and dear to your heart. What are some things you'd like to see progress there?
Well, certainly when you consider immigration reform, we need to provide a DACA solution to those DACA students that are living in fear and don't have any sense of finality of what their future is like. We also need to make sure that we are providing for a guest worker program so that we could provide the labor that we need for our agriculture operations and our farms. But we also need to provide for security of our borders. And also, we need to provide a path to citizenship so that millions of people who are contributing to our economy could continue to come out of the shadows and not live in fear and continue contributing to our economy.
All right, Congressman Salud Carbajal, thank you so much for your time, and we're going to send it back to you guys.
All right, Kelsey, thank you for that. Now let's check in with KSBY's Dustin Kleeman, who is with Justin Farid tonight. Dustin, what's happening there?
Kathy, it is essentially wrapped up here at the Far Western Tavern here in Orchid, where optimism was throughout the evening. It diminished for the most part here toward the end of the night, but there is a little bit of confidence that those numbers could shift as more continue to report and come in. Scores of people did come out in support, most heading home. I'm told it is going to be a long night, according to the campaign. They're expecting to see the results and hope for that gap to close. This is the third time Farid has run for election, losing to Carbajal by 7 points last time. Since winning the primary in June, he has campaigned aggressively across the 24th District, which is a deep purple. If the results don't go the way the campaign hopes, Farid spoke about what's next.
I'm always going to be an advocate for my community and for the folks here on the Central Coast to make sure that we have a strong voice that could deliver results for our community. I'm optimistic things are going to go well, but in the event that it doesn't go our way, at the end of the day, we need to have people who could fight for us in Washington, D.C., and I'll be sure, and throughout the community at all levels. I love our community. I care about the direction that we're going in, and I care about the direction of this country, and I will always be working to be a part of that, for sure.
Now, again, people have left, they have come and gone, but they're hoping there are changes ahead when they wake up tomorrow morning. That wraps it up from here at the Far Western Tavern. I'm Dustin Kleeman, live in Orchid, KSBY News.